Glad to have you guys on board the show today. We got plenty of football talk to get to this hour. Sixers back in action tonight at 8 p.m. here on 97.3 ESPN. But the news of the day is Saquon speaks and the Eagles moving forward this offseason. As always, you guys can join the conversation at 609-403-0973. Let's take your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Coming up in less than 20 minutes now, you'll be joined by former NFL general manager Michael Lombardi. Will be jumping on with us because he practically predicted what the Eagles did this week a week ago. So we'll get his perspective on the Eagles after some of these moves have been made, after some of the transactions have happened. So we'll get his perspective coming up here on this edition of Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. There were a few things that Saquon said to the media today that I wanted to replay back for you guys that stood out to me personally because, Saquon, and I was talking with somebody off the air about how Saquon, showed you he's an ultimate professional. He knows how to handle himself. He knows what to do. And even though him and the Eagles decided to be grossly late for their own press conference, like the Eagles always are, there were still a couple things that he said that really stood out to me. And I think one of them had to do with because he was asked multiple times about coming to Philadelphia and his perspective on the Eagles and joining and becoming an Eagle. And I thought when he explained this answer, to me is the biggest reason why, not just that Saquon is in Philadelphia, not just because he's an Eagle, but why the Eagles have a chance to still be a very good football team next season. Saquon Barkley earlier today said this.
Watch from afar what everything this team about, what the city is about. They have that mentality. They want to win. I know everyone's, stuck on last year, but, being 11-6 and making to the first round, and that's a down year. That's a great culture you want to be a part of when you have that mindset.
It reminds me of what Jason Kelce said at his retirement presser when Jason said, the fans are going to love you if you fight for them, if you don't settle. And, Barkley was sitting there saying, look, you have an 11-6 year, you lose in the first round, it's a down year. He says, that's the expectation. That's the standard. That's the whatever label you want to put on it. He is laying out for you that part of the reason why I want to be here is because this organization doesn't look at going to the playoffs as we've arrived. We've made it. That's good enough. No, he says, I'm coming to an organization that says, I expect more. I want more. And it shows you that Saquon wants to be about winning. And while the other part of what he said was a little tongue-in-cheek and funny, it again goes back to who the Eagles are as an organization and how people who are outside of the organization look at them.
When I put this hoodie on, definitely a little different. And, seeing my daughter there, put it on the Philadelphia Eagles stuff. She's seen, we've been on the worst side of the rivalry, I guess you could say, for the past couple of years. But I'm happy. I'm happy to be a Philadelphia Eagle.
You heard him say that. We were on the worst side of the rivalry. And, Saquon's a guy, he's from the Philadelphia region. He's from that, north of Philadelphia area. And he knows what it's like to be in Philadelphia. And he understands, as someone who played against the organization, look, I was on the wrong side of these matchups. I was on the bad team. I was not on the good organization. And it's not a necessarily poor reflection on the Giants, even though I can sit here and do a whole another hour of a show complaining about what the Giants' mistakes that they have made in the last decade. But still, it's a reflection on who the Eagles are, that this young man is able to get up there and say, hey, you guys want more than just making the postseason. You guys want to win championships. I want to be part of this organization. I want to be a part of a culture of winning. And it's a strong reflection on who Saquon Barkley is as an individual because, for years we have talked about how the Philadelphia organization made that change where they said they were going to focus more on the character of the people they were bringing. They're going to focus more on who these people were in the locker room together. And now you're seeing how that culture, that environment, that everything that goes with it, how that is reflecting to other players around the league. Because now someone like Saquon Barkley says, I want to be here because you guys have high standards. I want to be a part of those high standards. And as Barkley said at his press conference, he wants to be an every down running back.
I pride myself in that. Just looking at the history of all the great running backs, all of them were able to do that. So I pride myself in that, and that's something I know that I can continue to improve. And whether it's running the ball between tackles, outside of tackles, catching the ball, pass blocking, all those things that, really make you every down back is something I want to continue to get better at.
I love that mentality. I love the mentality that he says, I want to be great. If I'm going to be considered among the greats, I'm striving for greatness. And I want to be a part of a culture of excellence and winning and not having, the bar so low that we can cross it every single time. No, he wants more. He wants to be more. And I think that is so cool to hear this guy explain, I'm here because I want to win. I'm here because me winning is also going to help me reach my personal goals as well of being great. And honestly, there's only a handful of players in NFL history who were elite and great without great talent around them. There's only a handful of them. Barkley understands, look, I was just running behind a porous offensive line. I was playing for a team that was just not built well. And now I'm coming to a team that is completely different. And it just goes to show you that it's so vital to understand that this is a team game. Football is the ultimate team game. Nobody wins by themselves. And Barkley understands that. And Barkley says, look, if I want to be one of the best, then guess what? If you think about if Barkley plays great, Philadelphia keeps winning, there's no reason why you can't make a deep run into the postseason. Josh Hennig here on Game Night, 973 ESPN FM, the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. Couple texts to get in here before we hit the break. 609-403-0973. That's the text board. Also your DMs into the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Don't forget, coming up in about 10 minutes from now, Michael Lombardi, former NFL general manager, will join me to talk more about the Eagles and the NFL offseason here on 97.3 ESPN. David in Violent chimes in and says, I love the Saquon deal. He's a little overpaid, but it's worth it for a top 3 back. Local guy, Penn State, make the Giants fans mad and keep him away from the Cowboys. It's worth it to me. That's from David and Violent. Well, David, I think that the concept that he was overpaid, I think that's getting a little overhyped, okay? Because he's getting $26 million guaranteed. And the way the contract is structured and the way the Eagles structure a lot of their contracts, that money is not going to be cost prohibitive for Philadelphia. We got to remember that in professional football, it's less about the total value of the contract than it is about the guaranteed money on the contract. The guaranteed dollars is really what it's about. And so if he is basically going to be a guy who, I'm just projecting because I don't have every detail of the contract in front of me, but if we're assuming that this is a 2-year, $26 million contract at minimum, then that means that he's basically coming out to a average annual value of $13 million a year. I don't know if that's overpaid. I really don't. When the what's it called? The franchise tag for running backs was around $15 million. So he's gonna get less than what the franchise tag value is. I just don't think that means he's overpaid. Now, did the Eagles pay a position they don't usually do that at? Absolutely. Did you take him away from your divisional rivals? Yes, you did. And to your point, he's a local guy. He's a top 3 back. He is going to add a dimension to this team that even if he doesn't have this historically great statistical year, I said this earlier to Mike Gill on the Sports Bash here on 97.3 ESPN. I said, to me, Barkley's value is not just in his rushing and receiving yards. His value is that he is going to take an offense in a team that had a lot of questions last year, and he's going to help bring them into an environment where they are going to be a better organization. They're going to be a better team. So for Saquon being here, his worth goes beyond the stats. His worth is that he is going to be a guy who, when you come up to that line of scrimmage and you're an opposing defense and you see Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith and Dallas Goedert and Saquon Barkley all standing across from you, you're going to take a deep breath and you're just going to have to bite a little extra hard onto your mouthpiece and realize you're in for a long day on the football field. That is a huge part of Barkley's value, because when it was Kenny Gainwell or DeAndre Swift back there, teams didn't respect or fear those running backs. They respect and fear Saquon Barkley. Well, that's Michael Lombardi. His thoughts coming on next. He was a general manager in the NFL for many years, also was around the league, won Super Bowl champions as an executive. We'll get his perspective on the Eagles offseason, Saquon Barkley, and more right here with me, Josh Hennig, on 97.3 ESPN.
Unsportsmanlike with Evan Cohen, Chris Canty, and Michelle Smallman.
It just cements the fact that the Giants made a mistake way back when. Adding Saquon Barkley to that offense makes it that much more dynamic, and I'm excited to see how good Saquon Barkley actually is.
Wake up weekday mornings with Unsportsmanlike with Evan Cohen, Chris Canty, and Michelle Smallman on 97.3 ESPN. South Jersey's sports leader.
Have you heard of naloxone? It's a simple nasal spray that can stop an overdose and save a life. Naloxone is available for free at most New Jersey pharmacies. No questions asked. Visit stopoverdoses.nj.gov to learn more. From New Jersey Human Services.
2 for $222. 2 for $222. Drive home 2 new Kias at Matt Blatt Kia for just $222 per month. For the first time, get 2 new Kias for $222 at Matt Blatt Kia, where you can get a brand new 2024 Kia Forte LXS for just $111 per month lease with 0 security deposit and just $39.95 due at signing. With a price like that, why not get 2 for $222? That's a brand new 2024 Kia Forte, 24-month lease for $111 per month, or drive home 2 for $222. Both with Matt Blatt Kia's exclusive 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
With approved credit, not all will qualify. Credit may affect down payment. Offers can't be combined. Go to mattblattkia@j.com for complete details, or 888-505-6670. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer, except for licensing, registration, and taxes through KMF. 24 months, $27 per month, 10,000 miles per year. Rebates and incentives to dealer. Expires 4/2/24. Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, on Route 37 in Toms River.
Sneezing, coughing, stuffy nose, runny nose, post-nasal drip, interrupted sleeping. I was groggy at the end of the day.
Allergies and sinus congestion were making Jana miserable. Then, a friend recommended Navage. Navage provides immediate drug-free congestion relief, flushing your nasal passages with refreshing saline and sucking out mucus, germs, and other airborne irritants. Navage helps you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel your best right away.
Navage gave me instant relief. I didn't have to wait 30 minutes. I didn't have to wait an hour, 90 minutes. I didn't have to wait a minute. I ran the rinse and I felt better.
Stop suffering from congestion and start breathing and feeling your best again with Navage. Navage.
I've had people ask me how I find relief, and I tell them Navage immediately. This thing is amazing.
Navage is available at Navage.com or at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid.
Jenkins is proud to be celebrating 75 years of providing the local community with reputable HVAC and plumbing services. Jenkins offers financing on plumbing, heating, and air conditioning services. They'll even provide financing for maintenance agreements and repairs. For new or existing customers, if you are in need of service or a spring tune-up, call the company locals have trusted since 1949. Jenkins, call 609-641-6262. Online at jenkinsandsons.com.
Jenkins, plumbing and heating. We're always here for you.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Walk right through the door. It's all here to explore. With guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Want more speed? Then you're in luck, because Xfinity just increased their internet speeds, and they're faster than ever. Plus, with super fast internet and a reliable connection, you can do more of what you love whenever you want. More gaming, more downloading, more video chatting, and more cozy nights on the couch streaming your favorite movies and TV shows. If life with double the speed is sounding pretty awesome, that's because it is. It's time to get more out of your internet with faster speeds from Xfinity. Get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for only $25 a month for 12 months with no annual contract. That's double the speed for half the price. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and other charges extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Brakes? We can save you 15% on that. We have OE quality Duralast brake pads and rotors in stock, ready for pickup or delivery. We also have calipers, brake fluid, tools, and anything else you'll need to do the job right. When you get Duralast pads and rotors together, you'll save 15%. It's just part of what makes us America's #1 brakes destination.
97.3 ESPN has teamed up with Seize the Deal for incredible weekly offers from some fantastic local restaurants. Here's this week's big deal.
Get a $50 gift card, good for use at Chico & Sons in Northfield for just $25.
Get this great deal starting Friday at 9 a.m. at seizethedeal.com. Hurry, chances are this deal will sell quickly. For more info on this great deal, go to seizethedeal.com.
When you wake up well-rested on a great mattress, everything becomes clear.
My life coach has a terrible life.
Things you missed when you were tired finally reveal themselves.
I use memes as a coping mechanism.
At Mattress Firm, we know the right mattress matters. While supplies last, save up to 50% on select Tempur-Adapt floor models. All with free and fast delivery. The right mattress matters. We'll find yours. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
For exceptional savings on your next BMW, visit BMW of Atlantic City. Shop our entire lineup of your favorite new BMW models, located in Egg Harbor Township and online at bmwatlanticcity.com.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Gabby.
Hey, Gabby. It's Jennifer Coolidge. Hi. I'm so glad I reached you at 2 a.m.
Oh, of course. Anyone with a Discover card can call and talk to a real person 24/7. Now, how can I help?
Yeah, I used my Discover card to buy these yellow pleather pajamas, and I'm just not sure I'm pulling them off.
24/7 U.S.-based customer service. It pays to Discover. Limitations apply. Learn more at discover.com/credit card.
Stop your grinding with Brooks Nygaard.
Are you waking up in the morning with a sore jaw, headaches, ringing in your ears, all because you're grinding and clenching your teeth at night? That's exactly what was going on with me. I ended up going to a dentist, and he wants to charge over $600 for a night guard. That's when I found the Brooks Night Guard. You mold it at home to the top or bottom teeth. Other mouth guards go all the way to the back, which allows the back teeth to touch. This is where most of the grinding and clenching occurs. The Brooks Night Guard redirects the bite force away from the back teeth, reducing jaw pain while still protecting the teeth. This unique design is what makes Brooks Night Guard different from all other traditional grind guards. Order your Brooks Night Guard today and get 10% off plus free shipping. Go to brooksnightguard.com and enter the code BRUX91. That's BRUX91.
Stop your grinding with Brooks Nygaard. Champion Exteriors, Champion, the one you call first. Voted best of the best in Jersey Shores. For roofing and siding, windows and doors. 24-month financing, no payments, no interest. You're certified GAF elite contractors. Champion Dutch Exteriors.com. Champion Exteriors, Champion, the one you call first. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. A bottle of Lucas Complete Fuel Treatment can clean your system and help your engine get more MPGs. Right now, you can get 2 bottles for only $9.99. A great deal to help you go a great deal farther. Find Lucas Complete Fuel Treatment and everything you need for better fuel efficiency at any one of our 6,300 stores.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Breaking news, the Birds are going to Brazil. Philly Sports Trips is excited to announce that they've already reserved hundreds of flights and have some epic plans in the works for an incredible trip to Sao Paulo with round-trip airfare, airport, and game day transfers, hotel, tailgate, and tickets to the game. Philly Sports Trips is making the most exciting Philly experiences easy for you to plan. Visit phillysportstrips.com today to book your trip and stay tuned for the full Eagles schedule coming in May.
This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Josh Hennig hanging out with you here on a Thursday night here on 97.3 ESPN. Don't forget Sixers back in action tonight, coming up at 8 p.m. tonight against the Bucks. Don't forget it's an hour later. It's in Milwaukee, so keep that in mind if you're tuning in for the Sixers, trying to figure out when they are playing tonight. Get back to text board 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. Check in with what's going on with you guys out there, what you're thinking. Coming in on the text board right here at 609-403-0973 says, I agree with points you made about Saquon. To me, it seems like the last couple of years, Niners and Birds are going toe-to-toe with off-season moves, trying to stay on top. It's a very interesting point you bring up because Philadelphia and San Francisco are in 2 completely different places when it comes to sorting out what they're going to do with their rosters. You know, I was talking with Mike Gill earlier about how Eric Armstead was a guy who was a staple of the D line. And he's gone. He is out of San Francisco. He's now in Jacksonville. He got a nice contract to go down there to the Jags. And the Jags are going to benefit from him on that defense, creating some disruption and some penetration on the field. And now you look ahead to what San Francisco's got to do. San Francisco is now lost multiple defensive linemen in the last couple of years, right? They've now lost Armstead. They've lost Javon Kinlaw. Chase Young, he's out there searching for a job. And it's not that San Francisco can't reload. And it's not like they don't have any talent anymore. But it's one of those situations where if you are the Eagles and you are the 49ers, you're having to make some difficult decisions when it comes to roster building. And it gets back to the point where, look, the Eagles are in a position they are right now because of who their general manager is. And I think this is, to me at least, this is a huge topic of conversation because I don't think we appreciate sometimes what Howie Roseman has been able to do to keep this team competitive. And it's the biggest reason why he has this job. Deshaun Jackson said this on the Up and Adams show with Kay Adams about Howie Roseman.
Howie's the real GOAT, man. I don't think people give him a lot of credit for, how he's able to, I think it's like 4 players, AJ, Jalen, Devontae, and Saquon Barkley, all under like $36 million in cap space. And then you got Cowboys that got Dak Prescott at like 59, and you got Daniel Jones, one player at 47. So it's amazing how he's able to continuously get these players and stay under the cap.
Think about that. The Eagles have a lower cap number for some of their best players combined than the Cowboys have for one player and what the Giants have for one player. And it's not that Howie Roseman is the only guy who can do what he does. But for whatever reason, Howie has been able to surround himself with the type of people who put his organization in position to be a team and organization that is able to do these type of moves, to make these kind of contract signings. We know what the Eagles value. They value the trenches. They value building the team at positions that are not always the glamour positions, while not also ignoring the glamour positions. It's the idea that when you have a team like the Eagles, they have a priority list. The Eagles did not grab Saquon Barkley first. It was Bryce Huff who was first. So think about that. When you have a situation where you got the pass rusher before the glamour position. Oh, wait a minute. They literally did that years ago. Yes. Remember when they signed Hassan Reddick? A month later, they traded for A.J. Brown. Now, it just worked out this time that Saquon was available in free agency and not via trade. But still, they still got the pass rusher before the skill position. That's who they are. And to me, that I think is what separates Philadelphia from these other teams. Is that Philadelphia is an organization that values winning football games over winning headlines. And it's part of the reason why people are so angry. And I use that word kind of gently, right? It's the reason why people are so upset if you're a Cowboys fan, Because Dallas has literally made one move, one addition. Eric Kendricks, the linebacker. That's it. They have lost 2 starters on their offensive line. They lost one of their depth, versatile D linemen. They have lost their defensive coordinator. They have had to do a major turnover this offseason, and they are not out of the gates running. They are, for all intents and purposes, they are slugging along. Okay? Now, it doesn't mean that Dallas can't make any moves coming up. It doesn't mean that Dallas is going to be quiet the whole offseason. It just means that Dallas is not doing whatever it takes to hold up to their end of the bargain when they told their fans, we're all in. Meanwhile, the Eagles said, look, we lost. We're not good enough. So we're going to improve running back to improve the offense. We are going to go out and bring in a younger pass rusher to potentially replace who we already have if we move on from Josh Sweat or Hassan Reddick or both. We're going to bring in another interior offensive lineman in Matt Hennessy, which might be the most underrated move so far for the Eagles, because Hennessy is a guy who has, if I remember correctly, has started 20 games in the NFL. I'll pull it up again. But this is a guy who he has started at center. He has started at guard. And yeah, so he has started 22 games. Okay. So he started 22 games in the NFL. And the majority of those starts have been at center. So that tells you right there that the Eagles are not neglecting what makes them who they are. When you bring in a guy like Hennessy, that is a statement that you still value your depth. You still value your strength up front. And now for Philadelphia, as you look around and you're trying to figure out what's next, backup quarterback, linebacker, maybe another cornerback or two, whether they do that in the draft or in free agency. Now, you got through round 1 with a resounding couple victories, okay? Now, you can proceed for the rest of the rounds of the offseason and still be at the top of your game. And as other teams are trying to figure out what is their next move, right? A team like the Bengals, who I still don't understand when they moved on from Joe Mixon. I felt like that was completely not necessary. It was completely silly for them to go and do that. It was completely unnecessary for them to say, yeah, we'll replace Joe Mixon with Zach Moss. I mean, what kind of silliness is that? But that's what other organizations do. And so back to the original point of the texter at 609-403-0973. When you look at the 49ers and the Eagles and you see, well, what are the Eagles doing? The Eagles are distinctly getting better. Well, what are the other competition in the NFC doing? The Cowboys have not explicitly gotten better. They're still kind of in cruise control mode, or I don't know, maybe they're not paying attention. I don't know what's going on down in Dallas, honestly. I thought Dallas, to be completely transparent, I thought Dallas was going to have a big offseason. I thought that they were going to say, you know what? We lost our defensive coordinator. We got embarrassed in the playoff game. So we're going to come out in this offseason and just go bonkers. We're going to go out there and get anyone we possibly humanly can. And we are going to fight for our right to improve this team. And they haven't done that. You look at a team like the 49ers. The 49ers have kind of done an exchange rate, basically. They've added certain players. They've lost certain players. They haven't exactly had an exciting offseason. Now, I will say the 49ers already have a very deep team. They are a team that, by the nature of their roster, they are very deep, and they can afford to have a couple players leave and not lose a step in terms of how competitive they are in the NFC. But remember, you lost the Super Bowl. Lost. You didn't win. And now when you lose a guy like Eric Armstead, and you were hoping that Joey Bosa might become a free agent, yeah, I'm not a fan of planning my offseason based on hopes and dreams. I'm just not. And you look around the rest of the NFC, the Falcons went from being a dumpster fire to improving both the head coach and the quarterback. But I'm not going to act like they are on the same level as the Eagles and 49ers. The Bucs have kind of did their best to maintain by bringing back Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield. As I mentioned, the Cowboys haven't really done anything. I think the only other team that's gotten legitimately better this offseason in the NFC is the Packers. I think that Xavier McKinney, his addition has been very underplayed. And Josh Jacobs is probably going to have a great season up there in Green Bay, because you look at the year that Aaron Jones had last year. Jones had a very good year last year. And now you bring in Josh Jacobs, who, frankly, is just as, if not more dynamic than Aaron Jones, and he's 3 years younger. So you get younger, you don't lose in terms of talent, you improve. So to me, Jacobs is an upgrade at running back because he's younger, and he's probably a more dynamic running back than Jones is, especially at this point. And you bring in a high quality safety to a team that stared down the 49ers and had them against the ropes, and it took Brock Purdy to lead them back to win that game. So realistically, are we saying outside the Packers that any other team in the NFC has gotten legitimately better aside from the Eagles? I don't see it. I think that the Rams have gotten marginally better because they've upgraded their offensive line. I think that the Panthers and Falcons have definitely addressed major needs, but that doesn't elevate them to the level of the 49ers and the Eagles. And teams like the Vikings and the Lions, they're just doing what they have to do this offseason. They're not getting exceptionally better. So for me, I think that, as the texter asked, you have an Eagles team and a 49ers team that are still mano-y-mano at the top of the league. Or should I say the conference. 609-403-0973. Colin from Mays Landing chimes in and says the Cowboys can't spend now because they have Lamb, Dak, Micah all coming up next year. They will need to nail the draft the next few years. Colin, I hear what you're saying, but it's an excuse. It's an excuse because why are other teams able to manage their star players and get them all taken care of, but the Cowboys can't? First of all, why does Dak Prescott have such a large, massive hold on their salary cap? He has one of the largest holds on the cap of any quarterback in the league. In a league where guys like Patrick Mahomes and guys like Josh Allen and Joe Burrow and others are trying to sign contracts to help their teams go out there and make the team better, why are the Cowboys incapable of having Dak do the same thing? And no offense to CeeDee Lamb, who's in a top 10 wide receiver in this league. CeeDee Lamb has to be honest with himself and look around the NFL and see what's going on with his receiver brethren in other cities. Justin Jefferson went from having a 4,000 yards a year passer in Kirk Cousins to now hoping that Sam Darnold is going to resurrect his career. You go to other cities, okay? Tyreek Hill is a great player. But his quarterback, Tua, before last year, had major injury history issues. And there's no guarantee that he's going to have another 16, 17 game season because the last time he was injured, that offense completely fell apart. Again, look around the league. Terry McLaurin, inconsistent quarterback play constantly for years in Washington. All right. You look around to Amari Cooper, who used to be in Dallas. He goes to Cleveland. He's had about 20 different guys, it seems like, throwing the ball at him at this point. Michael Pittman Jr., he's still waiting for Anthony Richardson to get healthy again so he can actually play with a stable quarterback again, hopefully, in Indianapolis. The list goes on and on. CeeDee Lamb can get paid all he wants, but he still needs to play with a quarterback who can get him the ball. And frankly, I'm not worried about Micah getting paid because he's going to get paid no matter what's going on. So you could say Dallas needs to pay guys and they can't spend money. Well, maybe they should have thought of that ahead of time. Plan ahead. Think ahead if you're an NFL organization. It's easy to say a team should build through the draft when an organization does not have a history of being excellent at building a team. Now, I will give the Cowboys credit. They've done a good job of drafting in the last few years. But you still have to consider that you're talking about a guy in Dak Prescott who might not even be the Cowboys quarterback in a couple of years. And we have no idea what Micah Parsons looks like in a defense not run by Dan Quinn. I think Micah Parsons is a stud, and no matter who the coordinator is, he is going to be fine. But I just go back to the fact that players are only as good as the players and the coaches around them. By the way, Texter asked about Aaron Jones, Shane, and Manahawk. He says, wasn't Aaron Jones hurt a lot last year? I don't think he had that great of a year. Well, Jones played 11 games last year. And I wasn't going specifically for last year, Shane, as much as I was talking about how Aaron Jones is a dynamic athlete, he's a dynamic running back. He's had a very successful career in Green Bay. Now, last year he had a down year. But I mean, aside from not playing he played 11 games. He missed 6 games. I think that he still played him. To me, if you play at least double-digit games, you're still playing a majority of the season. I got to give you credit for that. To me, Jones' problem was that he was kept out of the end zone a lot by Green Bay. There was a lot of games where fantasy football owners were getting mad because Jones was not the primary guy in the red zone in a lot of situations. That job had kind of been handed, that power back role had been handed over to guys like A.J. Dillon, and then Jaden Reed stepped up. And now you're going to bring in a guy in Josh Jacobs who, frankly, makes the need for A.J. Dillon less important. I'm assuming Jaden Reed is still going to be around there, but you're right. There was a perception, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, Shane and Manahawkin, but it's the idea that there was a perception that Aaron Jones was on the downside of his career. My point about bringing in Josh Jacobs is that you're getting a running back of similar or better skill who's 3 years younger, so he has less wear and tear on the tires. So, listen, Jones last year still averaged 4.6 yards per carry. To me, any guy who's doing over 4 yards a carry is doing pretty good in the NFL. He had an injury where he got injured, and he still averaged 4.6 yards per carry. That's still pretty darn good. That's how I look at it. I'm not saying that I'm the expert on this, but that's how I look at it, at least. All right, coming up the other side, we'll get to more of your texts here on 609-403-0973. Josh Hennig hanging out with you here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Don't forget, I'm going to be out this Saturday with Billy Schweim in the locker room. We're going to be out this Saturday, and you know how it is when Billy Schweim hits the road. It's always an interesting experience. But it's going to be more interesting this Saturday because Billy Schweim will be down with Realty Remediation. They are going to be giving away opportunity for you to win Phillies tickets, Blue Claw tickets, and everyone who comes out gets a free pest control, free termite control job from Realty Remediation. Route 9 in Marmora. I'll be out there with Billy Schweim this Saturday, 10 a.m. to noon. Of course, we'll be broadcasting live right here on 97.3 ESPN FM. More of your text coming up on the other side here on Game Night.
It's Sixers Bucks tonight on 97.3 ESPN. With the voice of the Sixers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Paul Reed, three-point shot up. It's good. Ball in the Gotham City. He puts it in.
Coverage begins at 8 p.m. It's Sixers basketball all season long on South Jersey's radio home for Philadelphia 76ers basketball. 97.3 ESPN.
Do you love a good cigar almost as much as your family? Well, maybe that's an exaggeration, but you can find that perfect cigar at Smoker's Haven. With 5 New Jersey locations, Smoker's Haven has the finest selection of cigars in the area, like Ashton, My Father's, Romeo and Julieta, Monte Cristo, and more. All from the finest tobacco leaves and hand-rolled by the world's finest cigar makers. All locations are fully open. Stop in and let them help you find the perfect cigar to pair with your life. See all they have and their locations at smokershavennj.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Brakes? We can save you 15% on that. We have OE quality Duralast brake pads and rotors in stock, ready for pickup or delivery. We also have calipers, brake fluid, tools, and anything else you'll need to do the job right. When you get Duralast pads and rotors together, you'll save 15%. It's just part of what makes us America's #1 brakes destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Ask Sherwin-Williams during the March Spring Sale, March 15th through the 25th, and get 35% off paints and stains with prices starting at $28.92. That means 35% off our most popular color family, blue. Psychologists have found it to be soothing and relaxing, which makes it especially great for bedrooms and bathrooms. And of course, get 35% off all of our other colors. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
It's buyback March at Matt Blatt Nissan. So bring any trade because AJ the Trade Man wants to buy your vehicle today. AJ pays $500 more than CarMax, so you get more dough for your ride. Brand new Sentra for just $199 per month lease with 0 security deposit. Only Matt Blatt Nissan has a 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
Oh yeah, it's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
Or drive home with 0 down and 0 interest for 72 months. Plus, current Nissan owners get $1,000 owner loyalty cash back on every clearly marked new Nissan in stock. Have a job clearing $450 per week? We want to approve you today. And AJ wants your trade, but only at Matt Blatt Nissan.com. Rate qualifications exist with approved credits. $13.89 per thousand finance. Not all will qualify. Go to mattblattnissan.com for complete details or call 844-917-4758. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer except for licensing, registration, and taxes. Sentra VIN RY 2011059. Lease selling price $24,579. Expires 4/6/24. It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike. Harbor Township.
Febreze. So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up and spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze. La, 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 la. Champion Exteriors. Champion, the one you call first. Voted best of the best in Jersey Shores. For roofing and siding, windows and doors. 24-month financing, no payments, no interest. Your certified GAF elite contractors. Champion Dutch Exteriors.com. Champion Exteriors. Champion, the one you call first.
At Target, our prices for Easter are so low, you can put all your eggs in one basket. Surprise them with Target exclusive favorite day treats, like our unique chocolate bunny and a cute basket, all from just $4. Add in some fun with a 6-pack of bubbles, 50-piece sidewalk chalk, and super soft stuffed animals, all from $5. And get great family picks with new Easter looks. It's easy with women's and girls' dresses for only $20 and under. Low prices on everything for Easter? Now that's Target.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every basket, every game, every point, every play. From the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar. Whether it's a three-pointer at the buzzer to tie the game, or a player goes 2 for 2 at the foul line. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only, must be present in New Jersey. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and on the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Don't forget an opportunity for you to qualify for the Phillies trip to Baltimore contest. I mean, we're just slinging out prizes all over the place here on 97.3 ESPN. Phillies watch parties March 28th. Mike Gill and the Sports Bash over at Maynard's in Margate. You have an opportunity to qualify for that contest coming up in about 3 minutes from now when you hear that sounder. Back to the text board at 609-403-0973. By the way, Jeff from Ocean City says he's going to come out this Saturday to the live remote where me and Billy Schwan will be down at Realty Remediation in Marmora. So I look forward to seeing Jeff from Ocean City join us. Shane Amanda Hawkins says, I agree with you. Josh Jacobs is much better at this point than Aaron Jones in their careers. Yeah, Shane, I think that, you know, it's funny because I know the general consensus is that running backs are supposed to get worse as they get older, and that's historically true. But I do think that there's a way to manage players that allows them to still be their best selves and most effective. And I think the Eagles showed that last year. It's why one of the reasons why I'm not too concerned about Saquon, because DeAndre Swift was a guy who had a history of injuries. Last year, he was healthy. The Eagles did a great job at managing him. Think about what the Eagles did as well in years past. Think about what they did when they brought in LeGarrette Blount back in 2017 and they traded for Jay Ajayi and they got the most out of his final years in the NFL. So this is an organization that has a history of taking running backs and trying to maximize them the best they can. You know, do they always make the right decisions? No. There's times where you question, like, why don't they throw the ball to Miles Sanders? Or why is this offense so apprehensive to use the running back in certain situations? Some of that's play calling, some of that's coaching. So I'm not going to overthink it. But when it comes to running backs, I think that Green Bay has showed that they are a high-level organization like the Eagles, maybe even better than the Eagles, at utilizing their running backs. Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, these guys had done a very good job in Matt LaFleur's system. I think Josh Jacobs is going to be great over there. One more text squeeze in here. David from Violent chimes in and says, I love the Dallas version of going all in. Have you heard Stephen Jones explain what it all means? No, I haven't, because I actually don't care what Stephen or Jerry Jones have to say. I really don't. I think that actions speak louder than words. I have a long history of the Dallas Cowboys being very good at certain areas of building a roster and not as good at other areas. I have a very, very long history with the Cowboys. Okay. This is an organization that has drafted the Micah Parsons. They have drafted the Zach Martins. They have drafted the Dak Prescott. They have drafted CeeDee Lamb. They're much better in the draft than they are at hiring coaches and building through free agency. It's just who they are. I know who you are. I don't need you to tell me why you are. Well, that very rude sounder interrupted me. The sounder for you to qualify. Caller number 7 at 609-573-3776. Caller number 7, you are in for the Phillies trip to Baltimore contest. As a qualifier, you must be present at Maynard's in Margate on March 28th, where Mike Gill and the Sports Bash will be hosting a Phillies watch party for opening day of the Phillies season. Yes, you can join Mike Gill and the Sports Bash at Maynard's in Margate for the watch party. But if you want to win the prize, you have to be caller number 7 at 609-573-3776. 609-573-3776. Caller number 7, you are in as a qualifier for the Phillies trip to Baltimore contest. And of course, the contest is brought to you by Philly Sports Trips. I'm Josh Hennig. This is Game Night. I'll catch you tomorrow.